know what Evan said. Thanks,
I
Kat.
didn't say anything. It's up to Kat.
Oh,
It's
well.
just got everybody ready to go at 7 o'clock. If they're ready to go.
All right, if David joins us, he joins us. I'd like to call to order the March 1st Development Review Commission meeting. Kat, could you call the roll?
Shear,
Yes.
Polson, absent so far. Berardi,
Here.
Smith,
Yes.
Frankel,
Here.
Silent,
Yes.
and Mr. Arthur is absent.
Thank you, Kat. First would be to, we have minutes. January 4th is our first one. Do you guys have any comments, changes we'd like to make?
No, I can move to pass those as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Shear,
Yes.
Polson, again, sorry, absent. Berardi,
Yes.
Smith,
Abstain.
Frankel,
Yes.
Silent.
Yes.
The next order of business is the January 30th minutes. Are there any comments or motions?
None, no comments. Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Kat?
They're the January 20th minutes.
Yes.
You said 30th. I just want to confirm.
Okay.
Shear,
Yes.
Berardi,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Frankel,
Yes.
Silent.
Yes.
Thanks, Kat. So we're going to move into our public hearing for LU 20-0027, an appeal of a staff decision to approve a request for a 2,000 square foot addition to an existing indoor tennis center. The addition of 15 parking spaces and the removal of 3 trees for site improvements. The site is located at 2900 Diane Drive. Staff coordinator is Joanna Hasty, Senior Planning. This hearing was continued from the February 1st, 2021 meeting to allow additional written testimony. The deadline to submit written testimony was February 8th. No oral testimony will be taken tonight. Before we go to the next thing, I had a thought on this. Evan, do we need to declare again?
If you've had any ex parte communications, yes. And if you had a financial conflict of interest, but I don't think anybody declared on that. So.
Okay. I've not had any outside ex parte contact. Craig, have you? Craig?
Craig, you're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. No, I'm not.
Okay. Mark, have you?
No.
Jason?
I have not.
Kirk?
No ex parte contacts.
I think that's everyone. Okay. So we're in a little unusual, and I think many of you have seen the memo. We're in deliberations, and it might be a good time for us to take a step towards the motion that was submitted to us. Evan?
Well, Mr. Chair, I would suggest we just go ahead and let Johanna bring us up to date from the last hearing as to what was submitted for the record, which would include which would include the communications about it. So.
Okay, thank you. Joanna?
Okay, I will try. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to do that. I just was going to let you guys deliberate. Evan, do I need to go through all of the exhibits?
Well, we should note for the record what exhibits were received during the open record period.
Okay.
Although if you want to refer to a memo that you've done which lists them all, that's fine too.
Yeah, that might be easier.
And that's probably the February 25 memo.
February 12th. Actually, the
12th.
February 12th would be the first one. So the February 12th DRC memo, we received 3 additional F exhibits from the applicant. And then looks like 7 additional comments in support, along with 9 comments in opposition. During the rebuttal evidence period, we received 2 emails in support and 1 in opposition. And then with the follow-up memo that happened, that was sent to you originally on February 18th, and then an updated one was sent to you on the 25th, because it included an additional letter in support from Mr. Scott Hicks. There was that memo with 3 attachments: the revisions to the conditions of approval, the settlement agreement, and like I said, the letter in support from the opponent at the time, Scott Hicks. So those are all of the exhibits that have been added to the record. They've been forwarded to the DRC for your consideration and posted online.
Thank you, Joanna.
Yeah, so the short summary is that the applicant, who is in the audience, but you've received material, has modified the application as set forth in the February 25 memo, the numbers 1 and 2 on page 1, to reduce the parking and to remove the trees. And Mr. Koloff, the appellant, has withdrawn his statements in opposition, grounds of opposition. And Mr. Hicks has joined in the result, but has not withdrawn his testimony. And I submitted, just to set it up, I submitted, if the commission were so inclined, I've submitted a draft motion to tentatively approve the application as modified to reflect the terms of the settlement agreement. Now that, again, does not bind all the parties, all the other parties, so that's why we need to go through the commission deliberation on other issues if you want to go through them item by item, or they're addressed in the staff report and the supplemental memos.
Okay, commissioners, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, are we, we're deliberating now? That's it?
We are in
Um,
deliberation.
Yeah, first of all, one, I think what is going to be constructed is going to improve within the space that they need to keep based on prior agreements. That said, I'm also worried about this growing, and I'm a tennis player, and my wife played there a number of years. I know there are people that come screaming in because they're late for a match, and when they get out, they got to get home to make dinner, and you know that location is right smack in the middle of a neighborhood, some sidewalk issues. It worries me. And my last question that I got my hand slapped was, what's the strategic plan for the growth of tennis in the city? And I don't think there is one. So I wonder, you know, the investment we're making, I hope it's worth it. But overall, I think at some point they need to look at where could they put another tennis. The other thing is I play tennis outside during the summer at Lake Ridge, and the schools and the courts are really, really in bad shape. And anyway, bottom line is, I think that there's some concern of the growth that's going to occur at that tennis center in the long term, and so that. But for the size, what they're doing, it certainly makes sense than people sitting there on the side of the courts.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. Regarding Commissioner Berardi's comments there, of course, I think much of what you've indicated, Mr. Berardi, are basically what I would call owner issues. You know, is this appropriate? Should we be expanding? Should we look at a strategic plan, et cetera? The question, of course, before you is whether or not this application, as modified, meets the standards and criteria that have been identified to the commission. So,
And that's my point. I agree with that. It's, our role here is did the city do their job? Yes. Sometimes, we did the job, but I'm not sure it's in the right best interest of the residents. But yes, the city did their job.
Okay. Anybody else? Jason, what are you thinking?
It's exactly what, Evan just said. I'm following our guidelines. I'm absolutely in support. I assure you, there may be times when I leave my office late or wherever I go, and I may drive a little faster. So that's not here nor there. Well, let me rephrase. I don't speed in Lake Oswego. How's that? But so, and don't follow me from the Key Bank up State Street onto McVeigh and South Shore, but I will make sure I'm watching myself closer from now on.
Evan is an officer of the court. I just want to point
Yes.
that out to you.
That's my bad. But absolutely, I think that I know the direction I'll be going, and I'll be supporting the motion for approval.
Okay. Kirk?
I think based on the reports and following the criteria for approval, I don't see any reason not to approve it. We've gotten objections from people that have now, with the removal of the additional parking spaces and the withdrawal of the trees, apparently it's the application as proposed is acceptable. So I would support approval of the project as revised.
Okay, great. Mark?
What he said.
Okay. So this is going to be a little different, but I thought maybe I could read this in the form of a motion. And then I don't know if it's prudent for me to make the motion or not, Evan.
Sorry, really quickly, Commissioner Scheer, can I say that one of the things I would amend is on the "and" for the second part, given Appellant Kohlhoff's withdrawal of the stated grounds, for C, the staff memo should be February 25th, not 12th.
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, to help you out, Chair, I'll be happy to read the motion.
Thank you very much.
Sure. So I move to tentatively approve LU 20-0027 as modified by the applicant with the revisions to staff's proposed conditions of approval as stated in the staff memo dated February 25, 2021, attachment 1, pages 1 and 2. And given appellant's Kohlhoff's withdrawal of the stated grounds for opposition in his testimony and exhibits, the commission will adopt its findings, the findings in A, the staff report dated November 25th, 2020, the staff memo dated January 15th, 2021, and the staff memo dated February 25, 2021, except to the extent that the staff report and staff memos address issues raised exclusively by appellant Kohlhoff, and for those, the commission expresses no findings because those issues have been withdrawn. On the issue of noise from the formerly proposed formalized parking spaces along the west curb line, the commission finds that the application as revised will not bring the sources of sound closer to the westerly abutting property than currently exists, and therefore, in addition to the incorporated findings, the commission finds that there is no parking lot noise impact from development as revised. I had a question, Evan. So it says that we're doing findings. are we doing findings in the motion?
Yes, I mean, if you had different findings, then we would want to amend, then we do an amendment on that. But the
Okay.
basis of your approval would be the findings that are stated.
And then there'll be subsequent findings that,
We're going to write up the written findings need to be written up, but always staff is looking for what the findings of the commission are in order to write those up. And so now you have expressly stated those findings, and staff
Okay.
appreciates that.
And I have expressly seconded that.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. Kat, you want to take the roll?
Chair,
Yes.
Berardi,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Frankel,
Yes.
Stylen.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you,
right.
everyone.
Those are tentative findings to be brought back to the commission at its next meeting on March the 15th. And Jessica, do you have a time on that?
So we don't have any other items scheduled for March 15th. So if the commission so chooses, you may want to meet earlier at 6 p.m. That has been what you've done in the past.
Does that work for you guys? Nod your heads.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. 6 p.m. it is. Jessica, do you have anything else as far as the management update?
Yeah, just to let you know that we will have a meeting on April 5th, which is the first Monday in April. We have two items expected to be scheduled for that evening. One is a tree appeal, and another is an application for a new commercial building in the industrial park area of the city. That's to be confirmed, but it does look like that application is going to be complete. The tree appeal is on the Gateway Art Project, which is right at the entrance to the city off of State Street. There is an art project, if you're familiar with it, that the city has commissioned, and the tree removal is associated with that. It's generated a lot of public interest, and so I just want to remind the commission about ex parte contact. So if you are contacted about that, you should avoid engaging. And certainly, if you do have any discussions outside, that will be something we need to declare at the meeting on April 5th. And that's all I have.
Okay. Okay, if there's no further business in a record time, I think it's nice seeing you all. We're adjourned.
Thank you very much, Commission.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a great
Thanks, everybody.
Have good evenings. Bye-bye.
Be safe.
Good night.